Welcome to ComSpark. Today we are in Columbus, Ohio. I'm Jordin Kirk and I will be your host today. Today I'm meeting here with Rico Martinez from Rogue Fitness. Rico, appreciate you joining me. If you could tell me a little bit about your transition. I know you've been a part of Rogue Fitness starting from the code side and now you're at the executive leadership. Talk to me a little bit about that transformation.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, Jordan. Thanks for having me here. Really humbled to be here. Tell you, for those who don't know, first of all, about Rogue, if you live in Columbus and you still don't know anything about Rogue Fitness, we're about a 12-year-old homegrown business, and we're doing manufacturing right here in downtown Columbus. So we're primarily a direct-to-consumer business. We're vertically integrated from building to marketing, selling, and distributing fitness equipment or strength and conditioning equipment globally. So that's a little bit about the scope of the business. We've grown from 2 to 600 employees since 2008. Most of that growth has come in the last 6 or 7 years. So to your question about my journey at Rogue, that's when I started around 7 years ago, 2012. And yeah, as a developer, as an engineer, came to Rogue to help lay the technical foundation for all the business systems that would run Rogue today. So all your internal systems from warehouse management, customer relationship and customer service management, manufacturing resource planning, HR, like the gamut of things that it takes to run a business. We've built from the ground up over the last 6 or 7 years. And pretty quickly in the first year, I transitioned from that engineering role to a managerial role in application development, as it happens. Senior contributor or a veteran team member kind of by default or necessity becomes the manager of the team because you kind of know the most about the domain. But pretty quickly over the next few years, I was fortunate enough to accept responsibility for all of Rogue Technology globally, to include IT operations and e-commerce. And I've also had the pleasure of serving on the executive leadership team for more than 4 years now. So it's been quite a ride.
That's awesome.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Obviously, with that time comes challenges, right? Everybody in IT is facing some type of challenge nowadays. What would you say has been the biggest challenge you have faced, whether that's personally or as a company, over the time that you've been here at Rogue Fitness?
Sure, that's a good question because we've had all the challenges, right? All of them. You go down the list of normal challenges that businesses face, especially one that's growing at a pretty good clip. Right. Double-digit growth year over year for the last 10 years. We've hit them all, right? From talent management, hiring and retaining, developing and training people, to trying to innovate the business while you operate it and grow it, trying to balance like working in your business and working on your business and trying to grow it as an organization. So all of that stuff is typical, but I think the biggest thing that we've been challenged with is maintaining perspective for myself and for other people. So it turns out that a successful 15-year career as an engineer doesn't just qualify you to be a great IT manager or a leader in general, and neither does 40 years as a parent or just being a really nice guy make you a great manager of people. So it took me a minute to step back and realize that all of us really to step back and realize that as our roles were evolving, these were new jobs. These were things we didn't really know that much about. And we had to accept that and lean into the leadership roles as if it was something we didn't know and we had to learn. And then for other people, helping them maintain perspective about what was happening in the company as we're growing really quickly. What was helping them understand that what was going on in the business year over year as we were growing through all the typical phases of business growth was normal for right then, right? Back in the 90s, as a Marine Corps recruit at Parris Island, day one, the chaplain comes in and he says, I'm going to give you a bunch of advice, but the one thing that really stuck with me over the years is that if you can step back and realize that what's happening to you in the moment, wherever you're at, is probably normal for right then, and that other people have passed through this moment in their life, it'll help you sort of stay grounded. And so we talk about that a lot in our organization, in my organization in IT, is just what you've experienced elsewhere and more mature companies or older businesses that have worked through these pain points really isn't necessarily applicable to what you're experiencing at Rogue. If you haven't worked in a startup growing business before, it can be a little unsettling.
Yeah.
So that's been the biggest challenge, is just maintaining that perspective, helping others in the organization maintain that perspective as we grow and face all the other normal challenges that a growing business has to deal with.
Right. And kind of to piggyback on that, right, you mentioned the challenge around maybe people that haven't been a part of a startup or a long-standing company prior. So what would be a key takeaway that maybe you've experienced over these years at Rogue from your journey of moving upwards, within the organization, that you would maybe give as a heads up to people getting into the IT field and like what to be prepared for or how to even start their career there?
Sure. I think that sort of the biggest lessons for me came through making that transition from being a contributor, a team member, an engineer, even a senior level engineer, into leading and managing. So I think it's not uncommon these days for our IT managers and leaders to come out of the organization, to come out of the group that maybe that they were working in. So for anyone who finds themselves in that position and along a similar path that I've taken, I would offer that, like, forget your old job, because that's what it is. It was your old job, and the new job that the new role, the new set of responsibilities you're taking on, you might not know as much about how to be successful in that as you thought you did. Lean on people who've been there. Connect with your peer network. Got some great advice a few years ago that I could have used a lot earlier, like create your peer network in your community before you really need it, because you're going to need it. You're going to want it. You're going to want to lean on those folks because they've been down that road and they've hit their head against those walls, and be open to learning that there are things that you just don't know yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you sharing this, key information, and hopefully it helps maybe the next individual or two that might see themselves in the IT field. And
Sure.
For more information, you guys can visit ComSpark.tech.